We'll convene the meeting. This is May 24, 2016 special board meeting of the Frankfort Plant Board. I'll ask Kathy if she'll call the roll of the member directors.
Member Ludwig?
Present.
Member Green?
Here.
Member Pogrodsky?
Present.
Member Baldwin?
Here.
Member Rosen?
Here.
All right, we have all 5 directors present. We're here this evening to conduct a couple of public hearings, and also we have another action item on the agenda. First item this evening is to conduct a public hearing regarding increasing electric rates. The new rates are proposed to be effective July 1, 2016. So this is a public hearing. It's a voluntary proceeding that the plant board provides to the public. And I'll ask if there's anyone here this evening who wishes to comment on this subject. Anybody here this evening? Nobody has signed in either, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, well, I'll ask Hans or James, if we have no one here, is it necessary, or is it advisable that we brush over this subject, have the staff present it, the highlights of it?
I think
because this is being televised.
I think it'd be within the board's discretion as to how they wish to proceed.
Yeah, I think we should. I think we should have some comment on it because, like I say, we do televise and so forth, and it is in the interest of the public to know what this is about. So, although it's a public hearing, and if anyone shows up and wishes to comment, be happy to hear from them. But otherwise, I'll ask, let's see, this is electric, so this would be that, I suppose.
Mr. Chairman, don't we need to move into?
We're in an open special meeting and we're in a hearing.
Right, but don't we need to do the public comment, even though there's not here, where, you know, we go through the procedure of reading the information and then having electric talk about it, or conduct the actual public hearing, or not? It doesn't matter, I'm just asking.
I'm happy to hear from the public if they're here. Anybody wishes to comment, but the purpose of the meeting was to have a public hearing, and since there's no public hearing, no public person has come in and made themselves known thus far, my thinking is that we should still address the subject for the benefit of the public, and by doing that, we just need to have our staff explain what this proposed rate increase is about.
I understand, thank you.
Vent, you care to?
Yes, sir. Okay, speak about it for a moment. As you remember, starting in 2009, Kentucky Utilities, with the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, or FERC, with their approval, they instituted an annual formulated rate mechanism, and this allows them to change their wholesale electric rate that they do charge us on an annual basis, and it's based on the actual charges that KU incurs during the year. On the first business day of May, the plant board is notified every year of what that new rate will be, and the effective date of that rate is always July 1 of that year. So this year, KU notified us that they would give us a 10.3% rate increase. Now, that will be effective for July 1, 2016. Due to these annual rate changes from KU, and in keeping with good utility practice, the plant board conducts its periodic cost and cost allocation reviews, or cost of service studies. And these reviews help ensure that our retail rates generate the adequate revenue based on consideration of wholesale power costs, operating expenses, as well as adequate working capital and reserves. Based on our most recent cost of service study, which was approved in May of 2013, KU's rate increase and a 2.81% rate increase that the Frankfort Plant Board itself needs for its own internal operations, those combined together, the KU rate is passed through to our retail customers, and that actually comes out to be 8.54. So if you take the KU's 8.54 and the plant board's 2.81, you get 11.35% rate increase to our retail customers. That will translate differently because of the cost of service study to those different rate classes that we have. to give you an idea of what that would be for a residential customer, our average residential customer uses about 1,200 kilowatt hours a month, and that will translate to a 12.29% rate increase for those customers, which is an additional $12.68 a month to their normal bill. The existing customer's bill is about $103.19, and that would go to $115.87. We have published in the paper all the various rate classes, depending on the rate class, from general, residential, large power, municipal rates, lighting. They all have different rates, and they all translate a little differently. Again, as I said, depending on the cost of service study and how that translates. Again, this is the large majority of this increase is due to the KU pass-through, and only a small portion, 2.8%, is from the Frankfurt Plant Board.
Okay, another aspect of this is, and tell me if I'm wrong, but we're creating a new class, are we not?
No, that was on the water side of
That was
things.
in the
That was
water.
industrial for the water. I'm sure Dave will cover that here.
All right. Does staff have any questions of that? Of course, this is getting to be an old subject with us because we've heard this before. But, if not, we'll,
Mr. Chairman, we do need to make one additional reading. That additional oral comments or written comments will be accepted and considered if they are submitted no later than the end of normal business hours on Monday, June the 20th. Is that correct? Yeah, June the 20th, 2016. To submit a comment, please contact FPB at their phone number of 352-4372 or on the website at www.fpb.cc.
And it was advertised, the hearing was advertised in the State Journal and also on Channel 10. The other thing I'd like to comment on is the Frankfurt Plank Board on the electric side has not had an increase in rate since 2009.
And I have one question. The 2.81% increase that's for the plant board, not a part of the electric raise from KU, is that mainly to cover the cost of the new administration building?
No.
So-
That totals about 1.5 million. Do you want to
Yeah,
talk more
it's-
about it?
The increase is right at $1.5 million. I think what Dr. Green, to his point, he's talking about other than the KU increase, the FPB by itself asking for rate increases since 2009 is accurate. So you've had an increase from 2009 to 2016 of operating expenses. The KU increase pass-through has covered wholesale power, which is by far majority of the budget, but it's mainly, no doubt that is contributing. Anytime you have an increase in cost, that's contributing to increasing potential rates. So that is a part of it. Out of the $950,000 annual debt service for the building, the electric division is paying about a third of that. So you can figure around a little over $300,000 is debt service. So
And you said
rest
the
is-
total number for electric is 1.2? That's the total increase in operational cost?
It'll be 1.5 million
1.5.
is what the additional request for.
Yeah, the 2.81% is a revenue of 1.515 million.
Okay, so 1.5, and then out of that 1.5, 300 and change is the...
Yes,
is
it's
the admin
about a
expense.
third of the $950,000 in annual debt service. As we show in this 5-year plan that we just went over, this is, as if everything goes to plan, which budget estimates are just that, estimates, but there is not a FPB designated rate increase in the remaining 4 years outside of this request. So if things go to plan, if the KYMNA power goes to plan, we might be able to continue just as is with just passing through the KU increase through 19. So
Okay.
that's the proposal.
I think in 2009, we had a 3% rate increase, if my research was correct. And then this, 2.81. kind of for your history, KU rate increases we had to pass on to our customers because of KU. In 2009, it was 13%. In 2010, it was 9.8. In 2011, they gave a 2% rate decrease, which we passed on. In 2012, it was a 7% increase. 2013, 4.2. Last year, it was very tiny, so we absorbed the rate increase. There was none passed to the customers. That was 2014. 2015 was 6.86. And this year is 8.54 from KU.
That 8.54 represents almost $4.6 million.
Yeah.
So, looking forward, if we can, for every percent of a decrease in the increase, you're looking at almost $500,000 per percentage of increase on the power bill. So, like we say, we're looking at between 40 and 50 million over the next decade if we can keep power costs steady.
Okay, anything else for staff, comments? If not, we'll move on to the second item this evening, is also a public hearing, and this is regarding increasing water rates. New water rates proposed to be effective July 1, 2016. Again, I'll ask if there's anybody here in the public to comment. There are no indications that there's any public comment here today. No appearances. Again, I think we should brush over this for the benefit of our community. And our program is televised on a delayed basis, so it's informational to our customers and our community generally. And before I do that, I'll do as Rick did and point out that until June 20, 2016, the board is happy to accept oral and written comments that are submitted to us by normal business hours until normal business hours on Monday, June 20, 2016. And to submit a comment, you can call FPB at 352-4372 or on our website, fpb.cc. And I'll ask David Billings if he'll make some comments about the proposed water rate increases.
For the same reasons that Vint described to you, the reasons that they do cost of service study, the water department does the same thing to make sure that our revenue streams are matching up with our revenue requirements. We use Gannett Fleming, which is a nationally recognized firm that, besides engineering, does rate design and cost of service studies. They have conducted our latest cost of service study, and they included sales and expenses for 5 years, all the way out to 2021. Their study indicates that our current revenues are about $9.5 million, and that our revenue requirements in 2021 need to be about $12.5 million. So that necessitates a revenue shortfall and the need for a rate increase. The proposed rate design that Gannett Fleming has proposed for us is 13.1% this coming budget year, 4.7%, then 3.9%, then followed by 3.7% and a 3.5%. So you can see that the water department is continuing on with its latest trend to have smaller incremental rate increases every year as opposed to larger ones on a 5, 6, or 7 year basis. The current rate design also changes the existing rate structure. Currently, we have a declining block rate structure. What is being proposed is what we would call a flat volumetric rate structure, a different volumetric rate for each customer class. Currently, we have 2 customer classes, residential and commercial, but we needed a new rate for industrial to help capture the cost for that customer class. Flat volumetric rates are easier for our customers to understand. They are industry accepted, and it's the same structure as the electric division. Also, with the rate design, we continue to merge the city and county residential rates together. We won't do it within this 5-year plan, but we'll probably be able to eliminate the distinction between city and county customers in years 6 or 7. The rate increase that is being proposed means $1.84 increase to the average residential city customer using 4,000 gallons of water, $1.60 increase to the same county residential customer, an $11.90 increase to an average commercial city customer, and $3.90 increase to a commercial county. The new industrial class, the average industrial customer the average industrial water class user uses 1.3 million gallons of water in a month. That equates to a 12% increase for that industrial water customer. Our larger water users can see significantly higher increases, up to the tune of about 29 to 31% in the upward and the higher reaches of their water consumption, being around 4 or 5 million gallons of water a month. What's driving these additional revenue requirements are increased operational, maintenance, and depreciation expenses, a decrease in usage, which we discussed earlier. It's also a national trend, an increase in debt service. I'll be happy to go over some additional rates if the board sees that needs to be.
Okay, anything anybody else wants to bring out about this? Ask David anything? If not, that'll end the public hearing on that item. Third item tonight is an action item. Consider the establishment of fees for 1, residential telephone package, and 2, business telephone package, and 3, acceptable use unlimited long distance plans policy. So we've had this before the board before, and we've had a public hearing on it, and we're now to the point where it's up to the board to take action or not take action on this establishment of fees.
Mr. Chairman, if I could just say that over the course of the last 6 weeks or so since this was first introduced to the board, we have had some public comments before the public hearing concerning maybe a lack of understanding, or we haven't explained it very well, quite frankly, is what it is. Now, I want to make clear again, and we will through our marketing if this item is approved, that any existing customer can stay with the a la carte plan that they have today. There is no requirement that any existing customer move to one of these two plans, the residential or the business telephone plan. And we could have been more clear in the public hearing prior, and I apologize for that. But as I said, in moving forward in our marketing directly to our customers, it is absolutely a customer choice.
And to follow up on that point, we discussed in the last meeting that even if the customer moves, as long as it's the same customer, they would still be available to have the same plan.
That's my understanding. I wasn't here for that meeting, but I talked to a couple of people that were here. That's the understanding I have.
And there's no
So if you're in
plans.
apartment A and you're moving to apartment
Right.
C, then your a la carte services will move with you.
And there's no plans right now to sunset that process.
There is no plans to sunset. We are in the business of selling this telephone service to any customer that we can acquire, and we want to give them as many options as possible. And as far as if the board was to approve it today, over the course of the next 2 days or so, Hans needs to work hard to put together changes to our tariff at the Public Service Commission, and we would need to file those, and it would be a 30-day period before we could actually offer this. And so our goal is to get as close to July 1st as possible with that. So we would get that filed at the PSC here before the end of the week, and then as we get, as the 30 days rolls around, it'll be pretty close to July 1st.
And for the benefit of the folks that might just be watching this hearing, could you give us some sense of how these new rates for new folks that would be signing up for service compare to the surrounding areas?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I was reading a great question. One of my coworkers brought in today a public notice that they received from Time Warner Cable, which is the pretty much the surrounding cable company that offers telephone service. Their package rate for residential on the rate sheet that I saw this morning was $49.99 for an unlimited, for a dial tone, a local telephone line and number, and unlimited long distance. With I think it was 5 features for $49.99. Ours is residentially $34.99. So comparing us just to Lawrenceburg and Georgetown and Versailles, we think it's a pretty good value.
What about some of the bells? Are those similar numbers?
You know, I don't have that with me. I don't.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot, I just did.
Yeah, I'm confident we are less expensive than they are.
Sure.
I have a motion?
I move we accept the establishment of fees for residential telephone package, for a business telephone package, and acceptable use unlimited long-distance plans policy.
Second. We have a motion, we have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, vote yes is to adopt this establishment of fees. Vote no would be to not adopt it. Kathy?
Member Ludwig?
Yes.
Member Green?
Yes.
Member Pogorowski?
Yes.
Member Baldwin?
Yes.
Member Rosen?
Yes.
Motion carries. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no.
Yep.